Alright everyone, welcome to another drive along. Going out for some Chinese today on Father's Day. Today's Father's Day, I think. Let me see here. Sunday, June 17th. Yeah, Father's Day. After that, we're going to go to Universal Studios, go watch a movie. Incredibles 2, 3D. I like 3D. I'll probably end up going to the city walk. So it's overcast today. It might, small possible chance of raining. Of course, I'm riding in the Bavarian Motor Works today. So yeah, we're headed out some Chinese, and every time I come out to LA, my favorite, I wouldn't say my favorite, is not my favorite Chinese, but something I like to indulge. Oh look, Troll Hunters on Netflix are advertising that. Did you see that?
I know. I told you that before.
Oh, you're the one that told me. Oh,
Yes,
okay. Oh, you're so. Oh, sorry.
You're like, I missed it.
Well, now I see it. All right. Anyways. Okay, be quiet. No one's talking to you anymore. So, something that I like to eat is called jjajangmyeon. Is that oh, I gotta get over.
You can close your eyes there. I closed my eyes.
And another thing is, you know, the this is like a Chinese restaurant, but depending on where you go, you know, you have to keep in mind, like, Chinese food is not really Chinese food in America. You know, as a matter of fact, if you brought someone who was like Chinese and brought them to a Chinese restaurant in America, they would like question what this food is. They probably won't even know what it is. They're like, what is this? I've never seen this in my life. And if you ever seen like Chinese people eat food, you know, they slurp their rice out of the bowl with the forks. They don't even pick up anything with the fork. They just use the fork to scoop the rice in their mouth. I just don't get that. But anyways,
What?
totally defeats the purpose of all what we're doing here. So anyways, oh, I got a yellow light here. So there's like many different types of Chinese food. So there's Korean Chinese, there's Japanese Chinese, and then there's American Chinese, and then there's Chinese, if that makes sense. And maybe depending what part of China, there may be different parts of Chinese food. So anyways, I always thought growing up, you know, Chinese food, like here in America that you see, you know, was like Chinese food. But you know, I had a chance to have dinner with some real Chinese people. Now I don't know what part of China they're from, but the food they ate didn't look anything like what the food that came out of those Chinese restaurant, nor the way they ate resembled anything like I would expect any Chinese people to eat. And so I was a little surprised by everything. So the one we're going to, actually not too far from here, is Koreatown. That's actually the closest to us, actually, Koreatown. Then I think Chinatown, Japanese town, is in downtown, closer to downtown Los Angeles. So they're a little bit further away. But I actually prefer the Korean style Chinese jjajangmyeon, and I think the Chinese actually have something called jiajiang. I don't know how they say it. They say jiajiao or something like. I'm not sure, but their form of that noodle dish is without the bean paste, and also it's clear. It's clear and soupy, actually almost yellowish, almost. I've never had it. That's what someone from China told me. I actually had a chance to go to China one time, but I kind of passed that up. I refused to go just because I just didn't want to go to a communist country at that time. I thought maybe my identity would be stolen and used for espionage, because you have to wonder how to other than turning people, how do you implant moles? Well, you introduce them into the system, into whatever country, and as a natural, and they're raised and grown up and totally speak the language and culture, but their true identity is actually foreign, and you would never, nobody would ever know. Nobody would ever know, because their identities were their true identities are not their real identities. Of course, it's their identity has been taken from someone else. So I didn't want to go, but I had a couple friends that at the time I had friends over there. Friends come and go, so that's why I say friends. They went, they told me about the experience.
You catch me.
The food they eat over there is way different than any Chinese restaurant that you would go in America. It is, what are they're telling me, donkey's butt, scorpions, slugs, they mentioned. I'm sure those are the extremes. I'm sure they have regular stuff over there, but you would never see scorpions served up in a restaurant, or a donkey's butt, or any slugs, or anything that just, well, most stuff that crawls and wiggles probably won't make it up on the menus in America or any Chinese restaurant. Let's see here. There's Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset. We're not too far from Hollywood, but I don't want to go there. It's so sleazy. So sleazy. Sunset's pretty sleazy too. I think our exit is Western. So yeah, and then there's Melrose Avenue and all that. We're on the 101. Slow down for this guy. It's from Nevada. It always like traffic right here for some reason, just right here. I'm actually glad we're exiting right when this traffic gets bad for some reason. It's a Sunday, but a couple more miles, I think you'll hit up into downtown LA, and so that's, I think, Japanese town and I think Chinatown, maybe down towards that general direction. So Koreatown's actually pretty close. They got all sorts of little ethnic towns here. They have a little Italy here. They got a little Armenian community. They have a little Jewish community out here as well, but it's more towards the coastal areas, in between here and, let's say, Beverly Hills and Hollywood, North Hollywood, Sunset area. There's actually a little Jewish community. I think there's a gay community out here as well, towards that area. So a lot of little niches, and of course anything East LA around here is all Hispanic, mostly Hispanic. But here you go. Here you'll get a little idea of the streets here. Now look at that wonderful graffiti that someone put onto that van. I wonder if it's one of these van dwellers. This has an AC unit on top, got graffitied. All right. So eventually you'll start seeing some Korean signs here and all that, along with other things here as well. Sometimes there's a lot of Hispanic businesses out here as well. A lot of Hispanic businesses. You can see like street. Sometimes they have their shops set up outside in the street, almost like right there. But I don't know if you can see it. So we're crossing. Let me see, Santa Monica Boulevard. On looks like it says Melrose Hill. There's like little tiny townships. I don't know if they're cities or townships within the county of Los Angeles. And if you want to make a left turn, you have to get into the middle of the intersection and wait for the green light. And you only have a yielding left turn, not a left arrow. So you got all this wasted space in the middle. And I believe the subway actually goes into this area here. I can actually even show you one of my first early jobs I had when I was a junior draftsman. A long time ago, when I wanted to be an architect. It's actually inside. The building is on the corner. It's actually the Wilton Theater. That's where they have performances and theater performance and music performances. And there's a building on the corner. There was an architect firm. There were several architect firms, actually. I applied for a job there. I got hired by one of them a long time ago. A long time ago. One of my first professional, I guess, jobs, if you can call it that. And let me see, what was I paid? I was paid, I think, $6 an hour. $6 an hour. Wow. Now the wage prevailing, I think the minimum wage around here is like $12 to $18. I'm not sure. So when I first heard about wages, like hourly wages, this is back when I was in my teens, I think in my high school, the hourly wage was $4. So that's a huge difference. $4 to now what it is, 18 or 12 or whatever it is. Actually, you can start seeing some Korean signs out here already. Maybe some Korean billboards. And then, when you go to Japanese town, you don't see that many Japanese billboards like you do here in Koreatown. In Chinatown, you don't see that much either. But you do see Chinese signs and everything. Japanese town, Jap town. You don't see that much Japanese. It doesn't seem like you see that much Japanese signs and everything. Sometimes LA is just a bear to drive in. This is what it's like to drive in the city, in the streets. I mean, this is what it really looks like if you're ever curious to know what the streets of LA really looks like versus, maybe some other stuff. It's really yeah, we're coming up very close to where I used to work, the Wilton Theater. And They have a huge. They built a huge condo next to the subway station. There's a subway station. There's one next to Universal Studios, and they have it going out to here, all along Hollywood Boulevard, and then they have a shoot out to here. Here's another exit, and then they built this huge condo that wasn't there. It's pretty big. I actually wanted to go on the subway this trip, but we didn't really have anywhere to go. So, and everything I've done is walking distance, so I'd rather walk. And if you come out this far, you know, it's almost like you got to have a car anyway. But I don't think we could have walked with all the kids and my little one from here. But I don't know. Maybe when I go on a solo walk along. Of course, I don't have any reason to come out here other than eating at that restaurant, that one particular restaurant that I go to for that black bean paste noodles. But for some reason, I have a tasting to that particular noodle, to that restaurant when we come out here. So I used to crave Yoshinoya, but they don't have any out in Houston. So I just figured out how to. Well, my wife figured out how to make it, and so since then we stopped craving Yoshinoya, the restaurant. And we just make it. Maybe I'll figure out how to make that jajangmyeon. Maybe I'll figure out how to make that. Probably won't, you know. This seems to be. I mean, you can go out to like some Oriental supermarket and buy like the instant form of it, the instant noodle form of it, which I do every now and then. But it's not the same as going out to this restaurant, so I guess I'll just never really know. Traffic. This is where it gets dense. So you could actually see that condo right there that they built right next to the subway station. It's pretty convenient. It's not that bad. If you're next to a subway station, you can get to all these different places. Wouldn't be a bad idea to build a residential building. But the building behind that, right over here, that's the Wilton Theater, and at the corner they have it's the office building. There's an office building at the corner, and the bottom is actually the theater entrance, and that's where the performances are done. But I think I worked on the 6th floor. There were architects. I remember the place. It was called Studio Bautone. It was these two European guys who started it, and their specialty was designing music studios for musicians and artists for the music industry. And the different studios around here, a lot of different studios. They would design for homes for different artists. They would design music studios because it was all about acoustics. It was all about the acoustics. And so they weren't an acoustical engineer, but they were architects. And they had some well-known clientele. Not super well-known, but well-known. I didn't do that great over there. This was one of my first jobs. And after getting a taste of that, I realized, I'm not really an architect. I'm not really an architect. I thought I was. I just like drawing. And it was easy. It was an easy A for me at school, so that's why I did it. But real world application, I realized, I'm not good at this. So I had to find something else to do. Oh, this guy's making a left turn. Great. This is what I hate. And it is Sunday, so he's allowed to make a left turn. He's allowed to make left turns all he wants. That's why the hold up here. I should really go around. This guy will not turn until there's a car coming. Okay, he can make a turn. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Go. Taking it, being safe. He's being safe. Usually during the weekday you wouldn't be allowed to make a left turn, but it's a weekend, so one of the things I don't really like about LA. There it is. There's the building right there. The Wilton Theater. One of my first professional jobs. Junior draftsman. Still there. Amazing. I remember they had no parking garage here. It was just the land. There was a parking space, but it was flat. Now they just literally, let me just pan to the left here. You could see that now they got a parking garage and everything. Oh. Now things change. Anyways, we're almost getting to the heart of Koreatown right here. You can see all these Korean signs all over the place. Yeah, I got to turn left over here, so. Anyways, okay, now I'm gonna make a left turn, but at least this is a lighted, well, there's a space for me to make a left turn. I still have to yield on the green light. I got a green arrow. Alright. This is going to work good. It's going to work really good. There we go. There's a little shopping center over here on the left, or on the right side. There's downtown LA right there. You can see in the backdrop. I guess we'll be doing valet if we have that option.
They open?
Yeah, they should be. I guess we do valet parking. I guess we'll do valet parking. Alright, see y'all later. Bye.